Welcome back to Anarchy in the Ukulele. Me and Paolo today.
Hello, Kev.
Hello, Kev.
Hello, Kev.
It's very official.
Yeah.
We are here with this today.
Yeah.
Which is a bit of a revelation.
See what you did there.
See what I did?
Yeah.
Hey?
Yeah.
Hey? This is a Kala Revelator. And there's a bit of a story behind these, which we've got to talk about.
Yeah.
And then we're going to do a full review. We've got some playing clips. And we decided we'd try and play it in as many different ways as possible. So we've got pulled in some solo stuff. We do a bit of ukulele and bass, U-bass, which is cool. And then we do a full little band.
Yeah, so we've got a full range of everything.
Yeah, and we're going to give you a few sound samples and stuff where we hear it acoustically, but also plugged in because it's got a passive pickup in there as well. So we're going to plug it into our amp and effects and see what kind of sound we can get out of it as well.
I feel like I'm in the presence of royalty sat next to this ukulele,
do
if
you?
I'm honest. Yeah.
So,
yeah.
well, let's take it off its perch.
Yeah.
Get rid of that a little bit. So, this is, before we go through the spec of it, let's go through what a Revelator is.
So this is, this is effectively a Pete Howlett ukulele that he's been making. So Pete, I'm sure you all know who he is. He's
Picture here, me and Pete.
Yeah. World-renowned ukulele luthier. Builds amazing ukuleles. I've had the pleasure of playing a few of them. And this design that he came up with over 3 decades of experience, he's now handing the mantle over to Kala, and they are going to produce it. But it's not just something that he said, here are the designs, go and make it. He has actually gone to California, spent a lot of time with their luthiers, and they are now, initially with him, making it and taking it over.
Yeah, I mean, it seems to me that Pete's very much of the team, part of the team.
Yeah.
Over there making these at the minute. So, I mean, the whole story is Pete used to make this design.
Yeah.
And it was a bit of an experimental design, I think, when he started it. And it was incredibly popular. Possibly more so in this country, I don't know. But it was incredibly popular because it's kind of magical.
Yeah, because it's so special.
It's kind of magical. I met Pete at the weekend.
Yeah.
When I picked this bad boy up.
Yeah.
And he was saying, it shouldn't work. It shouldn't, acoustically, the design, it shouldn't work. It's not got a very thin back. It's not got thin sides. The sides are that thick.
Yeah.
That thick.
Yeah, they are chunky.
And
it's slimline.
And it's slimline. But there's something about it where the tone of it plays like a normal full-bodied ukulele.
Yeah.
And some.
Yeah.
The tone of it is magnificent. And so he was making these. Pete's he's not retired. He's still doing some projects. He's got a great project on the go called the Great British Ukulele, I think it is at the minute. Right. So he's still doing stuff, but he made his last one of these a year or so ago.
Yeah.
And said, I'm not making any more now, and then he passed it over to Kala.
Yeah, what a great thing to do, though, because these deserve to be made.
Well, they definitely have to be made. And these are the first ones that Kala have made, I believe.
Yeah.
This one is a solid colour. So normally you'd say on these reviews it's a solid top, back and sides. Yeah. It's got a top on there, but it's a solid a solid bit of wood, the sides and back, that were kind of routed out into shape.
Which is incredible when you think about it.
So there's no join of the back to the sides. There's no bracing on the sides. There's bracing on the top.
Yeah.
Pete's secret bracing on the top.
Right.
But it's kind of like a one-piece. It's not one. The neck's a separate piece, but a really nice sort of smooth join on the neck with this little cutaway, which I don't know if you noticed when you're playing early. You can get right up the neck with no issues whatsoever.
Yeah.
The way it's sort of the curve of it curves around with your hand, allowing you to really get right up there. So yes, the Koa, it's master grade Koa, which means they're using the best that they can get hold of. It's a Koa neck as well. So neck and body, it's so slim, isn't it? I mean,
yeah. You're not expecting to get much sound out of it when you look at it. I mean, I have played other thin-bodied ones.
I took this out of the case earlier and I gave it to Paul, and he was turning his nose up a little bit. He went, "Oh, yeah, I'd forgotten it was a slim line."
Yeah, I was surprised when it was a slim line.
Can we reenact your face? Well, I handed Paul the ukulele.
I think I went like this and I went, "Whoa!"
And he did, yeah.
I mean, this is the nicest. We'll come on to the sound in a minute. It's the nicest uke I've ever played, playability-wise. Yeah. I mean, we were doing a piece earlier that I think you're going to put in the video, Coquette, that normally after about 5 takes my hand will be hurting a lot.
Oh, we did 50 takes.
We did 50 takes and my hand still wasn't hurting.
Yeah.
There's something special about this uke.
There is something special about this uke. I mean, we want to give this a full review. So, we have bought this uke.
Yeah.
As we do with all of our reviews.
Yeah.
And we're not being sponsored by Kala. So we can say whatever we like about it.
Yeah.
So we're going to go through bits that we like, bits we don't like. But we clearly like the ukulele.
Yeah.
We're both very taken with it.
Yeah.
And I mean, let's go through the spec. Let's get that out of the way. So it's a master grade Koa body, with a UV cured satin finish. The finish of it I really like.
I do.
So it's not that kind of glossy finish that you sometimes get. It's not a really, really matte finish like maybe my Martin is. It's kind of that in between, and it really brings out the grain of the wood.
It doesn't need to show off, this ukulele. I mean, it's stunning to look at, but it's this kind of finish I like.
Yeah.
But it's not screaming out at you because it's not so glossy or anything. But
the curves on it are
sexy. Is that the word you're after?
Amazing. They really are, and it makes it nice to hold. So, satin finish. It's an ebony fretboard and bridge, a Corian nut and saddle, 35mm nut width, which is on the smaller size. Yeah. Lots of ukuleles are sort of 38 mil nuts. I mean, you're talking millimeters, so it's not much. The neck and the nut do feel very small, don't they? And I love that about it.
Very comfortable as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're used to a thicker nut.
Yeah.
And probably a thicker neck.
Yeah, used to a slightly.
And it took you a few minutes. You were saying earlier you felt kind of this string was kind of just quite close to the edge.
Just sort of, but I would say within 15 minutes of playing it was like,
family.
Like family, and family that I like.
Yeah. So 36mm nut width. It comes at what's on there at the minute, which is what it came with, is Worth Browns on the A and the E string. And then you've got 2 wound strings, which is slightly unusual.
Yeah.
So you've got the C and the G string, and they are Tadario wound strings.
Yeah, which is unusual, but it works. And it doesn't
again,
feel
when we spoke over the phone, and I told you that you were kind of, I'm not sure.
Yeah, because that's unusual for me. I've not. Yeah. In fact, I've not played one with a wound C string. So that I was thinking it was going to feel very odd, but again, it doesn't.
The strange thing is, it doesn't, does it? It just feels perfectly natural, and so I mean, you can put the interesting thing. I've obviously done a bit of research on these this week, and it looked to me on Pete's original ones that they didn't come with 2 wound strings.
Yeah.
Sometimes it looked like they weren't with wound strings at all, and they were high G.
Yeah.
As well. So I mean, technically, it's a ukulele. You can put whatever you like on there.
But these work.
It'd be interesting to know. Perhaps someone from Kala might comment and tell us, why the choice of strings.
Put them on, but I think they have a really good choice.
Or maybe we'll contact Pete and ask him as well.
Yeah, gives it a balanced sound.
But so it comes with those. Yeah. So it has a passive piezo pickup, which I really like. I'm such a fan of passive pickups because they don't add to the weight.
Yeah.
So not adding to the weight at all, really. You haven't got the whole thing of the batteries going, and as we're going to find out later, it outputs plenty of power if you're going into an amp or if you're going into a preamp.
Yeah.
You know, you really don't need to worry about the fact
Yeah.
that it's a passive pickup.
Yeah.
And I find them the most natural sounding as well. Mother of pearl fretboard and headstock inlay.
Yeah.
Which is really nice. Really
pretty, isn't it?
It's really pretty. So it's the normal sort of Kala logo, but with the mother of pearl and the sort of the different tones in it's really nice.
Yeah.
On the fretboard, you've just got a shell, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah.
At the 7th.
Correct.
So there's nothing marking the 12th. No. But shell at the 7th.
Well, you got a fret mark on side marking.
Yeah, you've got side markings as well.
Nothing on the actual. We've also got it might be worth mentioning that the strings are held in the peg system.
Yeah.
So rather than tying them off, they've got the ball end ones, I'm assuming.
I'm, strangely enough, I'm not a big fan of that.
Yeah.
In that...
probably not.
Well, it's strange coming from the guitar world where it's always going to be pegs with that unless you're playing classical.
Yeah.
Then you'd think I'd like it. What I don't like about it is that the ukulele strings don't always come with the end bits on, so you're tying knots, and I always feel a little bit like there's room for that to pull or to...
Yeah.
And I'd prefer it if you... To be honest, it's a complaint about ukulele strings, so I'd prefer the little end things on that we can just cut off if we want to tie it.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But it looks neat. It does, very neat.
It does look neat, yeah. Apparently, I did read somewhere that they are potentially better for intonation as well.
Right, okay.
I don't know about that.
Don't know.
But, yeah, I read it somewhere.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's it. So the body depth, it says here, it is 1.4375 inches.
Okay.
So it's really is quite shallow, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. When you play it and it sort of sits against your body, obviously normally... or out here.
How do you feel about that now, having played a slimline? Because I don't think either of us would go out to buy a slimline ukulele.
No.
Because it was slimline.
No. It didn't feel any different.
No.
It's the weird thing, because so obviously I'm used to them being pretty much double the width, he says, looking at his other one, and your hand being further out. But no, it's very comfortable to hold. Yeah. Very comfortable. So no, it didn't... When you initially said it was slimline, and when I took it out, I was like, oh. But yeah, within 5 minutes, you forget it's slimline.
Yeah.
Really. Yeah, so it makes no difference when you're holding it, I would say.
No. 20 frets, I believe, and it looks like 14 to the neck.
Yeah, 22 frets, I believe, actually.
Or to the body, sorry, not to the neck.
So yeah, your 12th fret is there, so then you can get all the way up there as well, but it's not like your body's meeting at 12th fret. You've got a little marker there.
22, you are correct. That's the spec of the instrument. It's one of those weird things, isn't it, where the spec of the instrument's completely irrelevant.
Yeah. Yeah.
Completely irrelevant. You know, I don't think we've gone through what tuners it's got, but it's open back gear tuners.
Yeah.
I don't care.
All of that is irrelevant.
It is, isn't it? Because it's all about the sound of the instrument. And that's the thing that I think is most surprising about this instrument.
Yeah.
And would be most surprising to anybody out there who's watching, is that it is all about the sound. And it's a slimline instrument. It's a slimline ukulele. There's normally a compromise to be had. There's
not as much room to resonate.
No.
But somehow this
magic bit of
yeah
wizardry.
Yeah.
And anyone watched our Friday night show last week? I couldn't say wizards. Couldn't say wizardry.
I've got better things to do on Friday.
Yeah, and but it's magical.
Yeah.
And no one. I hope I'm not insulting him, but potentially even Pete isn't quite sure.
I think you said he sort of almost indicated that he, not that he couldn't believe how good it is, but it's like, why does this work? It's a bit like, why can a bumblebee fly? It's the same kind of scenario we've got here.
It is a little bit. It's just something that just works.
Yeah.
And tone-wise, how do you describe the tone?
I'd describe it as phenomenal. That would be the word I would use.
Completely non-descriptive.
Yeah. It's bright.
Yeah, it is bright, isn't it?
It is bright, even with the low G and the wound C,
Yeah.
it's still very bright,
It's-
but not in a
It's
overly
bright,
way.
but yeah, it's not got that sort of brittle
No,
sound to it.
it's almost reverby. I mean, come on.
Hold on, let me. Now Paul's playing.
Beautiful sound. It's just adorable, isn't it?
It sounds like it's huge.
Yeah,
It sounds like it should. The body should be this big.
yeah,
And this wide.
yeah.
But not. It's. There's so many things on it that.
I feel like I'm sat playing in the Royal Albert Hall.
Yeah.
Because it's just so beautiful, and I mean that's just the tone. I mean we've done some flamenco, we've done some classical, we've done some jazz. We've really put it through its paces, and there's not one style of music it wasn't beautiful on.
It's not the thing that I think I get from it. If the body was as big as I just said, or it was twice as wide, it could sound boxy.
Yeah.
And you get that kind of, you get a tone that is constant, sort of an annoyance.
Yeah.
That kind of is constantly ringing through. I think because it's slimline, you don't get that.
Yeah.
But it's something about the way that this body is resonating.
Yeah.
That is making the sound. I mean, it's.
Well, I think also when I said it's easy to play, I mean two things there. I mean, firstly, it's got a lovely action on it. It's nice and low, but that low action is not so low that it's compromising the sound at all. So it's easy to fret. But as soon as I played something, I said, wow, I can control the volume on this so easily. And it's even to the point where I can control the volume of different strings more easily than I would on a normal ukulele. So, you know, when I just want to do a crescendo, it's very easy on this.
You played something early and you went from a very soft dynamic to a very loud dynamic.
Yeah.
And the difference, bearing in mind, so, I mean, going back to something years ago, when we recorded a ukulele album with you.
Yeah.
And the ukulele that you used on that album was a nice ukulele. Yeah. Fine.
Yeah, fine.
But it was a nice ukulele. It
ukulele,
wasn't like a
good.
ridiculously expensive ukulele.
No.
It was a good mid
Yeah.
ukulele. And I remember sort of saying to you at the time, ukuleles don't have the dynamics.
Yeah.
From a recording engineer point of view, that the ukulele that we were using, and a lot of the cheaper ukuleles as well, they don't have that dynamic range.
No.
This has the dynamic range of a grand piano.
Well, I mean,
it's huge.
So when I was playing that piece earlier, I was going quickly. This is the flamenco piece that we'll drop into the video. I was playing up here, and then here, and that's so different. But then what's beautiful about this is the tone change from going dolce to what we call ponticello back here. It's just so beautifully merged.
Yeah.
And it's very easy to control. On some ukuleles, you've got to go literally from here to here to get a different sound. On this one, you don't. I found also on this one, obviously it doesn't have a sound hole in the middle. For me, I found that the sweet spot unusually was slightly
further back.
Yeah, slightly further back. So normally when I'm playing, I'll have the sweet spot in front of the sound hole.
Give us an example further back then.
Whereas
same thing.
here, when I played here, it just seemed a little bit
that's
brighter to me.
Yeah.
It's the nicest uke I've ever played. I was instantly in love with everything about it, and I love the fact that it looks different. It's funky. It's cool.
Yeah, this isn't your Christmas present.
And
this year.
this is where this is going, isn't it? Shall we talk about the price? It's about 12 grand. No, I'm joking, of course, but
I mean, they're priced differently at the minute, and so it basically it could be anywhere between around about 1,800 and 2,000.
1,800 to 2,000.
And because they're not really readily available yet.
Yeah.
So this one actually came from the hands of Mike Upton.
Yeah.
Kala,
You
founder,
ripped it out of his hands.
ripped
Didn't
it
you?
out of his hands. Kala, founder, president, currently
Yeah.
Mr. Kala.
Yeah.
He should be called.
Yeah.
And he had 4 of them with him. He had 2 Koa ones, 1 Karina one, and I want to say it was a mango one.
Right. Okay.
And I think the mango one was really nice, but it was really warm. It was quite a lot warmer sounding than this.
Yeah.
And this was my favourite one. I tried this and the Koa one. The Karina one had already gone to someone else.
Right.
So I think, as it stands at the minute, there's a Karina one for sale on the Southern Ukulele store.
Probably have to be
Possibly
quick
not by the time this video goes out.
Yeah.
And then they're only going to make so many of these a month.
Yeah.
Because they're made in their workshop in California.
Yeah.
By their team of master luthiers that make all of the Kala premium ukuleles.
Yeah.
Because Kalas do go, way up there in price, along with, the top price stuff that's out there. And it's made in their workshop there. If you go onto the Kala, I think it's on the Kala website, and then there's a page about the Revelator with lots of details about how it's made.
Yeah.
There's a picture, like what I really like, there's a picture of Mike on there.
Right.
Drawing out a ukulele body on a slab of wood.
Oh, wow.
With his kind of like, pencil behind his ear type thing, getting involved and making the ukulele. And then Pete's had a hand in it as well.
Yeah.
And you kind of wonder why it's magical.
But isn't it a great thing that they're sort of merging Kala's skills with Pete's skills to keep this alive? I mean, I wonder who approached who there, but what a great thing that this ukulele gets to live on. The only thing I would like to do is compare this to one that Pete's actually made.
Yeah.
I'm sure we know that he was incredibly involved with this, but how could it be better than this? I don't know. We played that in Nui Nui the other day, didn't we? We thought we'd reached the pinnacle then.
I mean, again, I don't want to insult anybody, but I would imagine if you take someone as skilled, amazingly skilled as Pete Howlett, and to see that go on his Facebook group, he has a Facebook group called Pete Howlett Studio, I think it is, and he does practically daily presentations of how to make ukes and finish them and working on them and in his workshop. Take someone as skilled as Pete, and then you take somebody that's been in the business as long as Kala, and they're master luthiers, and you put them all together,
and you come up with it.
I can only believe that, I don't want to say it's going to be better.
Yeah, it's a merging of knowledge,
but the merging of all of that, I think, is what has made these instruments, and has probably come down to then the choices of strings, because the strings are on there for a purpose.
Yeah.
You don't just
They've
put
thought
2
about
wound
this,
strings
haven't
on because they ran out of a full packet.
Yeah.
It's everything is done purposely with this ukulele. We're gushing. We are majorly. I don't think we've ever quite gushed over a ukulele as much as this one, but we do want to give. It's expensive.
It is expensive.
It's expensive. I think if there's anything that's going to put people off, it's probably that it's a thin line. Possibly. A slim line. And in my mind, that shouldn't put you off.
No. I think when you hear that it's slimline, I could see it putting you off. But when you play it, then you instantly forget it is. And
I think there's this whole thing of there's a bunch of manufacturers now making solid body electrics.
Yeah.
And it has a bit of a look of that.
Yeah, it does.
To it. Yeah. So yes, we've got the sound hole in there, but cover that up. You've got a solid body electric.
Yeah.
And I think that could put people off it.
Yeah. I don't think they're going to have a problem with demand for it. So,
no, so I don't. I don't think they should care. I think it is beautiful, but I'm just kind of going for. I'm trying to pull something out.
You're trying to find something to knock about it, and you can't, can you? I can't.
You didn't like that there wasn't 2 dots on the 12th fret.
Yeah, I like 2 dots because when I was playing earlier, I missed the 12th fret. I couldn't find it, but that's just within an hour you're going to be
lack of ability, isn't
it? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, amongst other things. Everything else I love about it. I really do, from its looks to its playability to its sound So it's intonation, which
It's intonation, which I know from chatting to Pete is. I say chatting to Pete like I know Pete. I don't know, but I met Pete the day that I bought this because he was there.
And he couldn't get away from you quick enough, could he?
No, probably not. And so this isn't some kind of favouritism to a mate or anything, but chatting to Pete and him saying, you know, the key thing about all of his ukuleles is intonation.
Yeah.
Intonation, tone, playability.
Yeah. Well, it's a bugbear of ours, isn't it? We've picked up ukuleles that, you know, if you've got problems with intonation, it's a nightmare because you've got to lower that, you've got to sort that out, and, you know, other things to get it sorted. And ukuleles should not have bad intonation. No. And this one's got perfect intonation. It's
absolutely perfect, isn't it? The other thing he said that has really rung true today, because we've been, you know, really testing this out today.
Yeah, we've put it through its paces.
He was saying, if you're going to spend that much money on a ukulele, it's got to be, it can't be a one-trick pony.
Yeah.
It can't be, you know, you're spending a couple of grand and you've got a ukulele that's great for classical music, but rubbish for strumming.
Yeah.
It has to be something that is adaptable to anything that you want it to be at that kind of price.
Yeah.
It's, you know, you don't spend that money on a piano and it's a honky tonk.
Yeah.
And that's all you can do on it, or it's great for rock and it's, you know, it needs to be playable for whatever you want it to be playable. And this one absolutely is. You know, you can play jazz on it, as we've done. You can play full-on classical on it. You can strum along with a band.
Yeah.
Shall we have a little play with the pickup? I'll tell you, before we do that, I'm gonna have a little strum.
Yeah.
Because you can't strum because you start getting all fiddly, and I'm gonna have a strum like the people at home might do.
Right. Okay.
Put that up there. Just simple.
Let's just compare that.
Hold on.
Oh, okay.
I'm still ringing.
Oh, sorry. Have I talked over the ringing?
And it stopped.
Yeah.
He's rubbish, isn't he?
What chord you doing there?
I'm just doing a C, A minor, F, G.
Okay, you quickly do it, and then I'll do it. This is a ukulele that I love a lot.
You do love that, which is why we're not comparing it because we think that this is similar, you know, different makes, different models, and everything else. But it just going, you know, the things that you love about that, I know are the same things that you love about this, but this seems to do them times 100.
Yeah, and this is a superb ukulele, I might add.
And
you can just hear it ringing and ringing and ringing, can't you?
Yeah. So, right, bad things about this, terrible things about this ukulele. Paul doesn't like it hasn't got the 12th. I mean, I can understand that because I do get lost a little bit, but
yeah,
I think once you're used to it, you're used to it, and that's absolutely fine. I like the lack of dots on the fretboard. I think it gives it a really classy look.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to do what I don't like about it, and all I can do is go back to what I do like about it.
I don't like the fact that it's yours, not mine.
Yeah, you don't like that. What don't I like about it? There's nothing not to like about it.
No.
Obviously, the finish is perfect. Obviously, there's no sharp frets or anything like that. You know, the condition of the fingerboard is absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
And we need to look after that. You know, the quality of the wood.
Could you imagine a better ukulele? Is this the pinnacle of ukulele? Have we reached the end of the road?
It's the strange thing is, I'm sure that, you know, there's other ukuleles out there. There's other K-brand ukuleles that, you know, are fabulous. This wouldn't be the ukulele that I would choose in my dreams before I played it.
Yeah, but it would be now.
And, you know, when I bought this, I was away and I went back to my hotel and I thought, oh, okay, I'm going to try it out in my hotel room. And I just couldn't put it down for an hour.
Yeah. I couldn't get you off the phone, to be honest.
No,
Kev,
you
when
couldn't.
phoned me about it.
We had about a 2-hour phone call the
Yeah,
other night.
just about this.
I only rang you for 2 minutes. You know, the funny
Yeah.
thing about that is because I said I'd call you at 5:45,
Yeah.
and I was driving home, and I get no signal in the forest
Right.
in between here and my house.
Yeah.
And so I had to pull over in a pub car park at 5:45. I sat in that pub car park till 7:15.
Just chatting about this ukulele. Yeah.
And then I drove home.
Yeah.
So yeah, shall we? Let's try it plugged in, as if by magic.
Boing.
We're plugged in with mic to back. So we're going through our Fender acoustic amp. We might do some plugging into our DI straight into our recording software as well, just so you get a really clean signal. However, nobody wants to plug in an instrument and get a really clean signal,
Right.
because they sound awful.
Yeah.
Even the best ones. You want reverb on there and bits and bobs. So you could use this through a pedal board, you could use it through a preamp. We've kind of got that all built into our amp, so we thought we'd just go for it. So I've put a little bit of reverb on there.
Yeah.
Give us a play. Let's have a listen.
Pretty, isn't it?
It's very nice, isn't it? It's got a more natural sound to me than a lot of ukuleles with pickups in.
Yeah, I think that.
It's a little bit warmer. It's still a pickup sound, you know. It's always going to be a pickup sound.
Yeah, it's not tinny though, is it?
But normally, you know, sort of when we play with the band, I'm very much kind of mic up the ukuleles.
Yeah.
They sound so much better. And I know if you had a preference when you were doing a gig, it would always be to
Oh, crikey, yeah.
have it mic'd up.
Yeah.
However, that with a little bit of reverb on,
Yeah.
and we've mic'd up the amp just so you can hear what we can hear in the room,
Yeah.
I think would be more than workable. I'd be more than happy with that.
Yeah. I think I'd even be happy to do, it wouldn't be ideal, but I would do a classical concert with this plugged in, which sometimes you have to.
Yeah.
You know. And that's unusual to say that.
I'm going to say by far the nicest ukulele I've ever played.
Yeah. Yeah, an absolute, it's just a pleasure to play.
Yeah.
It really is.
Very nice. It comes, at the minute, they come with this snazzy gig bag. You take that, Paul.
Oh, when you say take it, you mean take it?
So it comes with a gig bag. I know Mike did say to me that they are currently working on hard cases.
Yeah.
For them, but it's a really nice. It's not just a padded gig bag. It's,
that's a decent
it's
bag,
structured. There's strength and something in there to do that. You get this certificate of authenticity.
Oh, well done.
I struggled again. Authenticity.
Authenticity.
Yeah. Handcrafted in the USA. In 2015, Kala Brand Music Company began production of some of the world's finest ukuleles at the Kala Revelator studio in Petaluma. Certificate proudly issued with every instrument handmade by the Kala build team.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, signed off by Mike and the team leader from the Revelator team.
There you go.
Can't say fairer than that, can you, for quality? No. So, where do we finish up this review? We haven't showed you that yet. We've cut in a few kind of bits and bobs, but we did a band song with it.
Yeah.
Because solo, it's amazing, but you know we wanted to see what it was like in our little band. So a little reduced band to normal.
Yeah.
Little 4-piece, not the normal 6, 7.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Who knows?
It changes, doesn't it? So we'll maybe play a bit of that at the end.
Yeah.
Just to show what it's like sitting in that kind of
Yeah.
structure. Yeah. how do we sign off on this?
Give it a score out of 100.
100.
That's your sign off.
Yeah, I can't criticise it.
No, it's the ukulele, isn't it? It's
Yeah,
it's there.
I think Kala, well done. Pete, well done.
Well done for getting together.
Well done for getting together.
It will live on.
Yeah, don't make too many of them.
Yeah. Just yeah. Leave it at that. Leave it at 4 or whatever it is.
Yeah, don't make too many of them because
Yeah.
we quite like having one of these.
Yeah, we like being special, don't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I it's weird, isn't it? I kind of don't want to see them everywhere.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
I'm sure Carlo would love to see them everywhere.
Yeah,
So yeah,
I'm sure they will.
And yeah, thank you for watching.
you.
This has been a long one.
Yeah.
But we've done a whole day on this ukulele, haven't we?
This ukulele, yeah.
And it's about 50 degrees in this studio
it is
today.
very
So
hot
our
in here.
heads, our tiny little foreheads, me and you,
Yeah.
are shining.
Yeah.
And don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell. Bongo boy.
Ding.
Absolutely. Oh, now he's. Don't forget to like.
Hey.
Oh, well, here we go. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell. And we'll see you next time.